Hey everyone, Tankenstein here. In this video, I'm going to go over how to become a gaming YouTuber. Specifically, I'm going to go over in detail the things that have led to me having over 25,000 subs for my channel, in which I mainly play War Thunder, though these lessons can be applied to any game or topic. Each one of those subscribers that I have has been hard fought, and I am more than happy every single time that I see that number increase, even by a single subscriber. In short, I'll be giving you the secrets to my relative success insofar as to how I got to where I am now, sharing with you how I started, what my plan was and still is years later, what worked best for me, as well as what I've seen work for other people, and give some tips and tricks. Now, I'm doing this video for a number of reasons. First, I want to give back to the community, and I want you all to do very well for yourselves, as I feel that I've done for myself. And two, it's a video, so that kind of counts as content. But seriously, I want you all to succeed and do even better than what I've done, as this community only thrives when the individuals within it thrive. So with that being said, let's get into it. Now, bear in mind that the ideas laid out in this video are just the ways that I've gotten to where I am and also what I've seen work for other people. Quite frankly, there are probably dozens or even hundreds of ways to build a successful channel. There are definitely a few ways forward to success that keep popping up regardless of the type of channel, content, or your path forward. Whether you want to do gameplay, short videos, guides, history, lifestyle guides, whatever the case may be, these guidelines will work for you. Now, to start, I'll lay down some bare bones fundamentals for what you'll need. Now, first and foremost, there's a reason why I'm mentioning this first. You need good audio. I'll be going over that in detail in just a few moments because, again, it is incredibly important. Second, you need knowledge of your topic or game, or the ability to meme if you want to make short videos. Pretty much, if you do not know what you're talking about, your audience will pick up on it and they will go after you. And if they think that they know what they're talking about and they think that you don't know what you're talking about, be prepared to comment on it in the comment section to let them know that you do indeed know what you're talking about and that they are actually wrong. And don't be snobbish about it either, because especially when it comes for me, when it comes to historical content, I do my research, and if there's any discrepancy, either I own up to it because maybe I am wrong, or again, if there is something where a commenter says, hey, Tankenstein, you are wrong, I say, hey, look, this is my source, I'm actually right, or it's a disputed source, let me know where I'm wrong. Now, for the third thing to be aware of, you need a somewhat capable computer. Now, I used to have a GTX 970 graphics card and an 8-year-old i5 3570K processor that both did decently until I upgraded a bit over a year ago to an RTX 2070 graphics card and an i7 something or the other processor. I forget the exact numbers after it, but it's like a 95 something with a K at the end. Anyways, while it allows me to capture the game on max graphics, really it's not necessary. If you're smart about how you do it, I would say that a successful channel can run on medium graphics, again, depending on your game, so long as the frame rate is good. But of course, this depends again on your game or the type of content that you'd like to produce. Heck, if you change the graphics to work best with your computer, you can maximize the important graphics for recording while keeping the FPS up. To this, I use OBS for recording video, as it allows for 1080p, 60 frames per second recording, whereas I use Filmora Wondershare for editing and to upscale my videos to 4K when I'm done rendering. Also, OBS does not use too much in terms of resources, which means that it just sits in the background recording very, very well and allows me to easily record to an external hard drive without any frame rate dip. Additionally, I use Epidemic Sound for my music in the background to ensure that I don't get a copyright strike for using music. And now for something I just mentioned a moment ago, but I'll go over into much more detail now because it is very important, at least for my process. It's that I use a 5 terabyte Western Digital Black hard drive, external hard drive specifically, in which I can record footage at full frames per second without worrying if I'm taking up too much space. Now, while 5 terabytes is not necessary, it helps to not have to constantly delete old video, as I pulled from those old videos to make generic background footage on a pretty consistent basis. Having that extra space saves a ton of time when making content, especially for guides, as you might need, for example, the perfect video clip showing about how you might have angled a tank or made a shot that you might have deleted if you didn't have enough space available. In fact, almost more than anything else, having my external hard drive has arguably saved me more time in terms of creating videos than, again, nearly anything else, as it has reduced my workload tremendously because it's cut out how much gameplay footage I need to record dramatically, especially for a brand new video. So for example, let's say if I've got a video coming out in 2 days, I don't have to sit down today and record a ton of gameplay because there may be some old footage where I can just put it into my new video. Now for a 10-minute guide, for example, I'll typically need 2 hours of raw gameplay. If I know that I have 2 or 3 perfect clips I've already recorded, of which might add up to around 2 minutes of edited gameplay, that saves me from having to record record around 20% more gameplay. Trust me guys, that is a big deal and a huge time saver. Heck, I even have a folder with generic cinematic shots that look great and can be used for any occasion. I'm even putting them into this video now. Beyond this, it is extremely important to have good editing software. Now, I personally use Filmora, but other software like DaVinci Resolve is free and is very capable. I would encourage everyone thinking about becoming a YouTuber, regardless of the game or topic of your channel, to look at Filmora Wondershare, as I've had great experience with it, DaVinci Resolve, the Sony Movie Studio line of products, Adobe's products. I'm not too familiar with them, but Adobe does make actually a ton of products that a lot of big YouTubers use, and more. And also to look at how they're priced, such as if they're subscription based or a one-time purchase, as well as of course their capabilities. For me, I like Filmora Wondershare because I'm an egghead and had a difficult time learning how to use the other products, whereas Wondershare, along with its 4K upscale capability, came as second nature to me. Other people may find other services to be better for them, so check around and figure out what works best for you. I mean, who's to say? You can even use Windows Movie Maker if you're looking for something that's incredibly basic. I'll even let you guys in on a little secret. The first few dozen videos or so on my channel were made using Windows Movie Maker, so it can get the job done. You'll just have a fraction of the useful features that other software has, and it's just not going to record in as high of quality as other software again might have. Now for my fifth point, you need to make videos for a wide but specific audience. Now I get requests all the time to do a review or a guide for a very specific vehicle in War Thunder, like the A6 M5 for example, which sounds good but won't get anything in terms of views. As much as I appreciate those requests, and I do occasionally fulfill them, the issue is that, especially when it comes to anything that has either been in War Thunder for a long time or is not near top tier, or at very least has a substantial historical following, like with the Tiger 2, videos that are too specific just don't do well. For me personally, I wanted to make my channel something that had and still has searchable videos, which is why I released my War Thunder Explained series that I still occasionally add to. Those videos are constantly searched, whereas things like memes or even to a lesser extent gameplay videos will fade fairly quickly. What I mean is that for a tips and tricks video, I am getting a constant flow of traffic over months or even years of hundreds of views per day, whereas some YouTubers, including those of larger size, might release a gameplay video or something topical to a current situation in War Thunder. Again, that's my example, but it could really be for any game. That might get 10 or 20,000 views or however many views in day one, and then 10 views in a day in the following month. Whereas a heavily searchable video might get 2,500 views on day one, but won't die as quickly and will settle somewhere around 1 to 500 views per day typically, at least in my experience, keeping that pace for months or even over a year after release. Some videos stay popular years after release. Some of my most popular videos are well over a year old, which is in the early part of me being a YouTuber, so really, I mean, it could be years before these videos really fade. Now for contrast, any topical videos that I've released that may have gotten a relatively large amount of views on day one are now getting me nothing. Sometimes not even a single view on a week or a month. In short, I'm basically saying that you should determine what type of channel you want to be. Topical channels are great and do very well, but be aware that unless you make it huge, your videos will likely burn out fairly quickly, whereas making searchable content won't yield a huge reward and will oftentimes take much longer to get anywhere, but the results will snowball into something big if you're patient enough. I even made kind of a little bit of a hybrid early on where I did some topical videos, but I did mostly searchable videos, and it worked very, very well. And I even still do that to a point now, so make sure that you have whatever channel you want to be and just keep doing it, keep hammering away, and you should have some success. And one thing actually I'd like to add to this tip specifically is that you want to figure out ways to engage your crowd. So specifically asking for likes and comments, as those are great ways to help to influence the YouTube algorithm to show your video more. And also one thing that I've done, and because I've had the means to do it, but also if you don't have the means to do it, you don't have to feel like you have to, is giveaways. So giveaways are a great way of not only engaging your community, but also to be able to drive growth in your channel by saying, if you'd like to participate in this giveaway, all you need to do is just subscribe to my page, comment on this video, and also like this video as well, and then you'll be entered into the giveaway. Simple as that. Oftentimes you'll get numerous subscriptions per penny spent. So depending on the type of video that you have, it can be an excellent investment. Now 6, and this is something that I mentioned earlier as being extremely important. You need good audio. I used to record audio direct to whatever video program I was using, which in the beginning was the lowly Windows Movie Maker. Now I use Audacity, which is a lifesaver. Further, you need a decent microphone. Believe it or not, the most expensive mics are not necessarily the best for your situation. For example, I used to use an expensive Yeti microphone, but that microphone was not good for where I was and still am in terms of the room in which I record. It is so sensitive that it picks up every single echo in my room, especially for my voice, and even with my best audio editing, it still sounded tinny at best. Kind of like this. Whereas now I use a humble Turtle Beach headset, which cost me around $45 and has much better audio quality again for my current situation. Once I move somewhere a bit more conducive to recording audio, especially if I set up soundproofing mainly to eliminate the echoes, the Yeti might be amazing. But for now, the cheaper option sounds quite a bit better. Now for a quick tip, you need to learn how to take both negative and positive criticism and to use both to grow. Don't let trolls get you down. Find a niche as well. I'm a bit of a generalist in that I make reviews, guides, some gameplay, etc. But that also means that even though I have however many subscribers, only 40% might like one type of video, for example, whereas 30% might like another. Now it works for me because I like to make all types of videos, but it can also lead to a relatively low view to subscriber ratio. Some people out there who only make gameplay videos have tons of people watching their gameplay videos because that's all that they do. Now if that person makes a guide or a history video or something that isn't quite a gameplay video, they could see a dramatic drop in viewership, and that also has to go with the algorithm. So for example, I make a good amount of history videos, or at least I'm planning on doing that, maybe like one per month, which is about, it's a little bit more than 10% of all my videos, at least for what I'm planning. Now once I get that into my general sort of schedule, that will appear in the YouTube algorithm quite a bit more positively, but so long as they are outliers, I will have fewer views, especially as fewer people kind of like, at least insofar as my subscriber base, like my history videos. So you need to find not only subscribers who like those videos, that might be kind of the outlier videos, but YouTube's algorithm also has to a point, warm up to those videos. So if you constantly only make gameplay videos, then you're going to have a good amount of success only making gameplay videos. Once you take a step elsewhere, you might have a substantial amount less success until it becomes a permanent fixture on your channel, where you'll have not only more subscribers watching those videos because more subscribers will sign up specifically after watching those videos, but YouTube's algorithm again will have warmed up to those videos a little bit more by that point. And now for something that is extremely important, something that a lot of people have tons of questions about, but not a ton of people will ever have: sponsors. Now for sponsors, it is important to note several things. First and foremost, always be very aware of who you decide that you'll allow to let sponsor you. It is your choice alone. I've received several requests by companies that, from what I've seen, are scams, and though they promised a steady monthly endorsement payment, I chose not to advertise for them. Some of these ads will not only negatively impact your viewer base in that you'll be literally setting them up to be scammed, but can also jeopardize other sponsors that you might work with. For example, if I had went with that one advertiser, I would have likely lost my content partnership with Gaijin, the maker of War Thunder, which would have had hugely adverse impacts on my channel, which would then lead to me not being able to make as much quality content, which would then force me to either totally change my channel's theme or to abandon my channel entirely. Secondly, it is important to know that, at least in my experience, sponsors will not come to you immediately. Sometimes if you have a niche, dedicated following, even if it's fewer than 10,000 subscribers, you might get a sponsorship, but typically it will take tens of thousands of subscribers before they start reaching out to you. For example, I didn't see any sponsorship offers until around 20,000 subscribers, but not really until I reached around 23,000 subs. Now, make sure that you have your business email on your YouTube, which you can edit in your YouTube account settings. You can even pound the payment yourself and reach out to advertisers, as many of them have application sheets for social media influencers, which, if you have any sort of audience, congratulations, you're now a social media influencer. Finally, do your research. Figure out how many views you're getting per day, how many you can expect from your upcoming videos, and so forth. Then go online, compare them with what other people might have via a Google search, as a surprisingly large amount of people are open with that sort of thing, as well as how much money they make from sponsorships. If an advertiser offers you one amount, but you feel that you could be getting a little bit more, ask for an increase and you'll probably get it, so long as it is not an insane increase. Adding on to this, make sure that you have a business PayPal, as this is one of the, if not the main way that sponsors will be able to pay you. This whole section for sponsors isn't typically something that you'll need to worry about until you get around 15,000 or more subs, but it never hurts to be prepared for when it happens. Set up your page to be sponsorship friendly early and keep checking your business email. You never know what you'll get at however many subscribers. And now finally, in this one, I feel is fairly important because there's a good amount of advice in it, at least from me. How did I start? Now, I started pretty much on a whim and in a field totally unrelated to gaming and specifically to War Thunder. Quite simply, I was and still am a car guy, and because of that, I decided to purchase a Hyundai Elantra Sport a few years back. Now, in doing my research for it, I looked up 0 to 60 videos, so when a car goes from 0 miles per hour to 60 miles per hour, and I found none on YouTube, largely because the Elantra Sport was literally just starting to be sold in US markets for the first time within about 2 weeks of me purchasing mine. As such, I saw an opening, made my 0 to 60 video, and got thousands of views. In fact, I did a whole line of Hyundai and other car related videos that, although they are of definitely poor quality, especially compared to what I do now, got me going on a path for YouTube. Now, once whatever that Paul brother was did that thing in Japan that forced YouTube to change its advertising rules, I stopped making videos as I no longer met monetization requirements. After a few years, I checked on my YouTube again, saw I was doing decently, made a few makeshift videos, and started to enjoy it, setting my goal for monetization. At this point, I had something like 250 subscribers, most of which were for my car videos, which gave me some confidence to move forward. Within a few months, I hit 1,000 subs, and shortly thereafter, I hit 4,000 watch hours in the previous year, which then allowed me to be monetized. I continually look for ways to improve my channel and for ways to bring more people to it, working on video and audio editing, as well as checking SEO for the best videos to make. By year's end, I had around 3,000 subs, so by around the end of 2020. Now, by the end of the following year, I had even more subs, 25,000, which leads me to where I am now a month into 2022 with nearly 28,000 subscribers. If I had a channel that covered a more popular game, it is very possible that I could have had far more subs than I do now, or even fewer subs, being that I'd be swimming in a bigger pond with bigger fish. But ultimately, the most important thing is that what I do is what I like to do. If you end up making content on a subject that you dislike, your viewers will pick up on it, and you'll find less success as a result. Do what makes you happy, and people will follow. My uncle used to tell me that insofar as playing guitar is concerned, it's called playing guitar for a reason, because once you lose your passion for it, it becomes work. Never lose your passion and keep finding ways to reinvent and improve yourself. I'm always looking for new editing methods, ways to capture video, ways to refine my process, etc. All of which have led me to come back to create content time and time again. In fact, it's like a challenge to myself to be better. Find what makes you tick, and you'll find your own form of success, even if you have to hone it a little bit first. Either way, thank you all so much for watching. I hope I was able to not only help some people with this video, but also give insight as to what goes into being a gaming YouTuber. Please, as always, like and comment on this video, as they both do wonders for the YouTube algorithm, and subscribe if you like my channel. But either way, thanks again, and I'll see you all on the other side. Take care, everyone.